Hi everyone. This is an event and it's part of the Rethinking Plastic program of ICSI Expo. I am Iris and I'm member of the ICSI Expo Young Talent team, and today I am hosting this interview. And this is the second episode of a series of 5 interviews with the Rethink Plastic initiative, not to be confused with Rethinking Plastic. Rethink Plastics is an initiative of NRK and PlasticsEurope. And with this initiative, the plastic and rubber industry make an effort to make this industry more sustainable. And today we're discussing the theme redesign. One small disclaimer of this interview: it is not live. However, we will be present in the chat to answer further questions that you might have. So that's the live part of this interview. So feel free to ask some questions there. And in this interview, I'm talking to Erwin van Limpt. He is CEO of Haval, a company that already makes disposables and packaging for 30 years. And this has a history and this has a lot of history and experience in this area. And they have to rethink and redesign all their products because in 2021, a new law, a European law, is going to launch, which bans all plastics, all disposables. So this is quite a big change for this industry. And this includes straws, stirrers, plastic cutlery, single-use plastics, and these are products that are also part of the portfolio of Haval. So welcome, Erwin. I'm glad you could be here.
Yeah.
So I want to start talking to you about this European law that will start in 2021. Can you tell us a little bit about how this relates to your company and how this affects your company?
Yes, of course. The new law you're referring to is the Single-Use Plastics Directive, and it means that from the 3rd of July 21, single-use plastics are going to be banned. This because of the whole plastic waste discussion we had for several years. And the European Commission introduced this law only 1.5 years ago, so it's very rapidly that's been transferred. And we were put up with it 1.5 years ago. That changes were on its way. And for us, it's a very important law because when we started the company, my father started the company in 1984. So 35 years, more than 35 years, we are producing disposable cutlery, plates, cups, stirrers. You mentioned it. We produce it, and every item that we are producing is going to be banned under that new directive. So we were looking what to do, and you have several products you can easily change into other materials or alternatives, but of course you have a lot of single-use items which are very difficult to translate in plastics. So if we have a coffee stirrer, a small one, it weighs 0.3 grams. So it's very, very light, and I can make it reusable, but then I'm sure that the stirrer will be thrown away with the coffee mug. So it's no solution. So at that point, we started to look to alternative materials, like in this case, the paper. But the transition for us is mainly in reuse. So we are translating all our products. We are redesigning all our products to make them reusable, to reuse them over and over again. We did some tests with some items we designed, and we let them. I have to say, we sent them to a laboratorium to check how many times they could be reused, and we took 125 cycle times as a starting point. So
Okay, well, that sounds like a pretty big change for your company then, and also a not so easy change. So were you also already thinking about these kind of things before this new law was announced, or
Um,
trying to make your company more sustainable?
well, yes and no. We had some customers because we the last 20 years we were in a rat race to become lighter, 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 cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. So every year we had to design new cutlery which was lighter and as stiff and as good to use as the heavier one. But okay, you can imagine that at a certain time we came at less than 2 grams for a plastic single-use fork. Of course, it's not used to cut a steak or something like that. So at a certain time, you had a point that it was so light and so little material that the, several customers said, "Yeah, I don't know if this is the way we want to go." So we are also we're designing new lines, sturdy materials which could be used well, like they were pretend to use, and in that order in that way, we see that more and more people are getting away from the lighter, cheaper, mostly Chinese stuff, and start to buy sensitive stuff, good to use.
Yeah, so there's also a bigger need from the customers actually to have products that are more sustainable and you can use for a longer time.
Yes, yes, of course. When you look at, for example, coffee cups, um, I believe in the Netherlands they're throwing away more than 3.5 billion cups each year, and there are a lot of offices which supply you with a porcelain cup or reusable cup to tap water. You have the dopper. It's a well-known alternative to take tap water, and that is becoming more and more more trending to use those kind of items. So this will accelerate the use of reusables. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I think so too. I have a dopper right here
Yeah,
actually,
that's
so
all.
good example.
Yeah.
So one other question. I would like, sorry,
Yeah.
it would be maybe nice to illustrate how you're redesigning these products by giving us an example of one of these products you're redesigning and how you're doing this.
Yeah. One of the no, I have different kinds of items. If you look at the cutlery, for example, that was a cutlery which was 2 grams, a very light cutlery, and we have designed them to an 8 grams cutlery made from polypropylene, bio-based polypropylene, so not non-fossil, which you can use 125 times. It's called our silverware solution. Um, um, that is one way how we are redesigning our products. And if you have, for example, this is a very known product for the small tomatoes, candy tomatoes you have. We produce millions and millions of them, and the retailers wanted to get down the weight of the container. And when we started, the weight of the container was 28 grams or something like that. And we are now introducing a new container, which is going to be ready the end of this year, around 21 grams. So 40% material reduction, um, and the possibility of watermarking them so we can separate them from food and non-food in the recycling industry, so we can reuse them when it's prohibited in new products. At this moment, only PET is allowed to be used again in for example bottles, but I'm pretty sure that in 4 or 5 year times also polypropylene will be one of the materials which can be reused to food contact materials.
That sounds really interesting. And yeah, those containers seem pretty familiar from these Snoop matches.
Yeah.
So can you maybe explain a bit more about this watermarking process?
Yes, the watermarking process is a process where we put a watermark in the form of the product. So when it's produced, the form is. I have one item here. I don't know if you can see it properly, but if you look very carefully, you can see some lines in the material, and these lines can be read in the sorting lines of the garbage disposal. I don't know exactly the name of the installations, and can be disposed in food and non-food. So like a EAN code like a barcode on a bottle, you can read it as being a food packaging from polypropylene, so we can redirect them to a different stream and reuse them again.
That sounds like a pretty smart solution for the recycling business.
Yeah,
is this often already used, or is this a novel thing that doesn't happen so often yet?
It's a novelty, but I have to say it's not our innovation. It's an innovation of another company called Filigrade, and it's one of the solutions we are using. You have different watermarking techniques, but this is one technique that we are testing right now at this moment to see if we can use it in our products, in our molds.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good idea, and I really hope this works well and this will be implemented in a big scale, because it will help to recycle a lot more products.
Yeah. I think if the retailers will well, how do I have to say it? Embrace the idea of sorting out food contact materials and telling their suppliers to use the watermarking techniques, it will help enormously to get a boost of this type of watermarking.
Yes, I think that sounds really good, actually. So I'm wondering, what are the challenges you find yourself having while redesigning all these products and working with these novel technologies?
What are the challenges? You know what it is. We are used to design products for single use, for throwing away. So at this moment, you have to think, how many times is this item going to be used? What can be the pricing of the materials? I'm pretty sure if the material is 4 or 5 times more heavier, it also costs 4 or 5 times more. So you at least need to use them 4 or 5 times more than what you're doing now. And then they still have to look as they were, as that you bought them as the first time. So the designs for food containers or plates or bowls, they have to be easily cleaned on the inside. So no rims, no embossing. Colors have to be selected, because if you have, for example, tomato soup, which can affect the color of the material. So there are a lot of challenges to look into, and it's totally new for us. So we have to find out everything again. So we are developing a new line of products, Circleware, your circular tableware, which can be used over and over again. At the end, we want our products back to recycle them and get them back into the process. So we have to find solutions for that also.
Yeah, and then watermarking them might be also, or a similar technique might be also working for that, I can imagine.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. I'm also thinking you might have some future plans or some directions you are going to with your company now that there's a lot of things that are changing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, a little bit, a little bit. We have our own ideas, so we are trying to ban all the single-use plastics out and make them reusable. I really believe in the reuse of the products and in the recycle scheme behind it. So all our new products are designed to be reused, very neutral, and I hope that we can build some uniformity in cups or in systems or in waste systems, so that everybody can hook on such a system. If I know in Germany you have a system called Recup. You have one cup, you use that, and you can take the deposit in Köln or in Stuttgart or in Hamburg. It doesn't matter where you deliver your cup, and I think it's my dream to design products like that fitting in such a system. So it's difficult. It's quite a, how do I say it? It's quite a dream to accomplish, but I hope someday it will come true.
Yeah, and I think that it's good to have dreams as a company and a vision to work towards. And I'm very happy to hear that you have a dream of making reusable products that are easy to use, and that sounds really good.
Yeah, you know what it is. Plastics has a negative, negative word, but I think that plastic is not as bad as everybody thinks, and I believe that now in a few years you get the real pricing of materials like we have in meat or in vegetables, and if we have the CO2 pricing, I'm pretty sure that that plastics has a big advantage against uh, bamboo, cotton, aluminium, glass, etc., etc. So it can be a winner if we use it the right way, if we dispose it the right way, if we get it back in the system the right way. So circularity is in my opinion the key word. You have to make it circular.
And I think that's a really good ending for this interview, that circularity is the key to, for working with plastic. Well, thank you very much, Erwin. I'm really happy to have talked to you about this interesting topic, and that you have enlightened us with some new information.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Happily done, no problem.